A very good morning to one and all. On behalf of MIT School of Fashion Technology, MIT University, Chhattisgarh, we welcome you to the second day of our 5-day professional development program on innovative approaches in fashion systems. To begin with today's program, allow me to invite our esteemed speaker, Professor Vandana Bhandari, who will be speaking today on sustainable aspects of Indian costume. Dr. Bhandari is an academician, administrator, and an author specializing in the field of apparel design, craft, Indian dress, and Indian textiles. Ma'am has over 35 years of experience and has a proven track record of delivering results both at national and international level. Ma'am has held the position of Dean Academics at National Institute of Fashion Technology and retired in 2022 from NIFT. Ma'am has around 35 publications in national and international journals of repute. Dr. Bhandari has been the project coordinator of a national level craft project titled Ustad at NIFT, which has a collaborative approach for sustaining livelihoods and craft heritage and creates a valuable connections between designers and master artisans. NIFT has been a collaborative, which has been a collaborative approach for sustaining livelihoods and craft heritage and creates a valuable connection between designers and master artisans. Ma'am has been awarded the Distinguished Alumni Award from Lady Irwin College, Delhi University, and the Career Awards for Excellence in Research from University Grant Commission. Now, I would like to request ma'am to please address the gathering with her intellectual and insightful insight. So, ma'am, please, the panel is yours.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you, MIT, for inviting me for this faculty development program. Always a pleasure to talk to young minds, young scholars, and I hope some of the things I say will make a lasting impression on you and maybe help you to further the cause of research, learning, and teaching, which is what as academicians we do. One of the things I will not do today is go into very many details about each of the subjects that I'm touching on, because I really do feel that there is a lot of data and information available on these. But what I would like to do is to introduce you to some of these topics. And I hope with your interest and zeal, you can take them further in your life. So just to tell you what exactly I'm going to be touching upon, and then, you can please, is there some way, Dr. Pratyush, I can interact with some of the faculty? Is that possible, or that's only possible towards the end of the talk?
Yes, ma'am. During the talk also, you can interact with the faculties. There will be no issues, ma'am.
And how do I see the participants? Is there some way I can see the participants only as their names? I can't see them as, how do I see them? There should be some way to be able to see their faces, or I can't see them. It's not.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, faculty members and the research scholars can ask the question through chat box.
Okay, but I can't see them.
Yes.
Okay, that's
sometimes it happens that in between that interruptions, maybe there to avoid all this. It is
okay. Okay, it would be nice. I think in future we should remember that yes, we are working on online mode, but sometimes when you only see a black screen, it's not very inspirational to talk. And I think even for the faculty, when they can't see when they can't interact, it becomes like, why are we even sitting over here? And they may be doing other things while we are talking. But anyway,
let me talk to the IT department if it is possible. At least they can raise their hand and they can directly talk to you.
Okay, that will be lovely. That will be lovely. So the few points that I want to touch upon, just keeping in mind that we have a short talk today, and I am hopeful that we will have some conversation. So I don't want to be the only person speaking nonstop on this. So I'm going to talk about, the first thing I'm going to mention is sustainable fashion, because that is the biggest buzzword today in the industry, in the world, in our fashion industry, in the textile industry, particularly, and in all other industries that are happening. So for us, that becomes an extremely important thing. And because we know that, fashion has its own issues, and we need to address those issues as we go along. And each of us has to address them, whether we are designers, we are merchandisers, we are buyers, we are teachers, whatever we are doing, we must address the issue of sustainability. The second thing I'm going to talk about, because we are sitting in India, and since in my view, we are sitting in a space where India is shining. India is where it is in the world. I was just recently traveling abroad, and I'm going to talk about that a lot, because that has the deepest impression on me right now. I was away for 3 weeks, attending some craft fairs and, meeting people and just discussing things. And really, the economy internationally is not in such a good space as India is at this point of time. So in terms of manufacturing, we are in a good space. In terms of buying, we are in a good space. And in terms of having such a rich and ancient textile heritage and a heritage of dress, we are a very, very rich country. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our Indian heritage. And why I'm bringing it here in the context of sustainable fashion is because from times immemorial, we have had a practice of making clothing in a way that we did very minimal waste. So I'm going to talk a little bit about zero waste fashion, and how our culture and how our traditions traditionally already allowed for that, how we were already managing that. We were not wasting any of our fabric or our textile when we were actually making clothing and when we were wearing our clothing. And I thought to end with, I should do a kind of a small, I'm going to talk a little bit about a brand which is practicing sustainable fashion, which is practicing using silhouettes which are very akin to our traditional heritage, and also which practice zero waste fashion. So I think that will kind of sum up what we are trying to talk. And then, of course, I'm very much looking forward to question and answers. And I would want an active participation, because I have always told my students that unless and until you interact with me, I don't even know what to tell you. I can tell you many things, but I don't know what to tell you if you don't interact with me. So, bear with me and ask me questions. I'm sure that the program, the talk will be richer because of that. So according to, the US Fashion Alliance, the fashion industry today in the world is a $2.4 trillion global industry. And we employ approximately 300 million people across the value chain. And when we are saying 300 million, these are the registered people who are working. There are lots of people who are under the radar and we are not even counting. Many of these women, many of these people who are working in the fashion industry are women. And it has been my experience over the years that the number of women in the industry are continuously growing. The numbers are growing every year. And also, we expect that the scale of this industry is going to continuously keep growing over the coming years. Because of this huge scale, because of this huge size, and many unsustainable practices that we have employed over the years, today we all know that there has been a huge social and environmental impact because of the fashion sector. And unless and until we make a large number of changes to our production processes and to the way we consume fashion, the social and environmental costs of the sector will continue to increase, and we need to be conscious of that. So looking at that, before we are going on talking about sustainable fashion, would somebody like to answer for me, what is sustainable fashion? Can anybody in the group come in and talk on that? Yes, guys, somebody can put it in the chat if you have some ideas. Okay, everybody is disabled over here. Can we have?
We request all the participants to answer via the chat box, please.
And you can just write to me if you don't want everybody to see. The amount of produce, okay, right from raw material to process to end product, correct. So yes, I think more or less everyone, yes, related to fair wages, related to the use of raw materials, related to correct working conditions, socially responsible fashion, something which has environmental concern. So yes, I think more or less everyone seems to know what sustainable fashion is. And since this is a fashion FTP, I would expect that you should know this and a lot more about it. To reuse, recycle, to upcycle, end-of-life design, excellent, right disposal. So many great answers. So I will just give you a basic definition that we say that it is an umbrella term for clothes that are created and utilized and consumed in a way that can literally be sustained while protecting both the environment and those producing the garments. So it's important that we cut down our carbon dioxide emissions. We address the idea of overproduction. You know, when you go to a mall these days, you see so many clothes are lying there, which really don't look like anybody is going to buy them. And also we find that a lot of these clothes are on markdowns. So why are we producing so much? Why are we producing things which are not going to be used? We need to reduce the way we are polluting our environment. We need to reduce the amount of waste that we are having. We need to support our biodiversity. We have to, somebody mentioned correctly that garment workers have to be paid a fair wage. We have to have safe working conditions. And you understand that, you know, if you remember the factory fire which happened in Bangladesh a few years back, the Rana Plaza incident, which really brought these issues to the fore, that how important it is to have safe working conditions. And a lot of organizations like Zara, H&M, the fast fashion brands, it was almost like a wake-up call for many of them to understand how to look at that. But this is not a talk on sustainable fashion. I did want to introduce this concept because many of you will study this, teach this, and we must always be alert to this whenever we are talking about fashion. Coming to the idea of Indian heritage and Indian history in terms of its dress and its culture. We know that India has such a diverse culture. You know, today, so many people are sitting in this room who are from so many different parts of the country. And if you just look around you, the way we consume clothing, the way we appear, the way we think, the type of food that we eat is still, other than in the big metros, it is still unique. And each city, each town has its own unique culture. Underneath this diversity, however, we are all very Indian. We have an Indian system of values, we have an Indian system of thinking, and this is reflected in its social structure from the earliest time till today. And when I say the earliest time, all of us are aware that we have a culture which we can date back to 5,000 years. And we have evidence of a dress, of use of metal in jewelry, of cotton being grown, of dyeing being done from the Indus Valley civilizations. So the two reasons for this type of continued diversity in our culture and dress are because, of course, of the geographical spread. And the second has been an interaction with people who came from outside. So, over the years, people kept coming in, and we kept on imbibing their culture. We kept on integrating with them. We kept on amalgamating, and we actually grew as a culture. So one of the beauties of Indian cultures was that we never fought with people who came in. We may have fought as wars, but we assimilated their culture. And so many of their things, their food, their habits, their norms came into our culture. So when we study the dress of any society, and especially that of India, we see that it provides an index to the social, to the cultural, to the political, to the historical, to the economic aspects that shape people and its ethos. And that's a direct quote from one of my books. So I'm sort of reading that out. But what has happened over a period of time? Even I think for you, most of the faculty sitting here, your grandmothers, and for our generation, our mothers, you could recognize them. You could say, oh, this lady is a Tamilian because she's wearing a Kanjivaram sari in a particular style. Maybe she didn't wear a Kanjivaram sari, but she wore her Mogra flowers in a particular way. Or you could say, oh, this lady is a Punjabi because this is the way she wears her clothing, or this is the type of earrings that she's wearing. Oh, this woman is from Gujarat because we can recognize the way she dresses. A Bengali woman, even till today, very traditional, the way they'll wear their white and red sari. You just look at them and you say, yes, this is a woman from the eastern part of India. But over a period of time, fashion has started to become very uniform. And we have started to look at the West for fashion inspiration. Or maybe, like you see, every woman is wants to wear a lehenga sari, and a orni when she gets married. Now, that's not the traditional dress in every community in India, but a certain amount of uniformity has started to happen in our culture. And we've started to look at the West for fashion inspiration. A lot of youth we'll see wearing jeans and t-shirts, and if to wear Indian is not considered to be cool, or it's not considered to be fashionable. It's starting to come back a little bit in the last 1 or 2 years, a few years, but there was a time when we've started to look too much at the West for fashion inspiration. So the first language of communication with people, internationally, nationally, anywhere you go, is the way we look and the way we dress. That's the first message that we give to people. So what are the messages that we want to give about our identity? How do we understand the value of our clothing traditions? And it's important for that to look at the past, to look at our heritage. Now, there are two types of clothing that we have. One, which is form-fitting. So, if you look at a blouse, a sari blouse, that's a form-fitting garment. And the other type of garment is the type of garment that we have, which is a draped garment. So a dupatta or a sari or a orna, those are the type of garments which are draped garments. So one we call a gravitational, that is, which you can just take and you can throw it on your shoulder and it will fall the way the weight of the fabric is. So that's a gravitational garment. And the other way is, which is anatomical, which actually fits the garment. It is made to stitch and to fit our body. And in India, traditionally, our day-to-day attire is a combination of both these forms. Practically, if you just look at your own clothing, what you're wearing right now. I'm wearing a kurta and a pajama with a chunni, and one is gravitational and one is anatomic. I see Miss Deepti Chaturvedi. That's the first picture I can see. She's wearing a blouse with a sari, and the sari is gravitational and the blouse is anatomic. So it's normal for us to wear this. If you went abroad, you would not, if you went to the West, you would not see so many draped garments. It would be unusual to see these draped garments, but in India, it's a very common sight. So our everyday attire really is a combination of these two forms of clothing. And ancient civilizations, whether it was Greece, whether it was China, whether it was Persia, always used draped clothing wherever there was warm climate. And literature and art over the ages also show us that unstitched clothing was the preferred mode of dressing in India. And even today, we see that unstitched clothing is still considered to be, and I'm going to come back to that in case I forget. So I'm going to make a note of that, unstitched clothing, and remind me to come back and talk a little bit more about this. And Forbes Watson, who was an early scholar who talked about Indian clothing, in the 19th century, he referred to these unstitched garments as garments which leave the loom ready to wear. And can anyone name some of these garments which leave the loom ready to wear? Quickly to your chats, guys. The dupatta, yes. The stole, the sari, the dhoti, excellent. Lungi, very good. Dhoti, the veshti. Okay, so wonderful. So the turban, yes, excellent. The turban, I had almost forgotten about the turban. So these garments, Angavastra, yes. So I see some of you are more active than the others, and some of you are obviously sleeping, guys. Wake up. I see a lot of people in the group. How many people are we all together? How many people are we there?
136 participants.
136, and I'm only getting 5-6 answers. Come on, guys, wake up, wake up. It's already 10:30 in the morning, and it's time to be awake and up and about. So let's be a little bit more cheerful. If I was taking a class at this time, I would tell students to get up on their spot and hop and skip for a minute and then sit down. And especially in online time, in COVID time, we used to do that all the time. I would say, okay, come on, get up now. We have to jump. And I would jump with them. But I'm bright, nice and awake, so I'm not going to do that jumping. But I think all of you can. And the Mundu and Veshti from Kerala. Excellent. So Professor Goswami, who's written a beautiful book on Indian dress, and he's a noted art historian. He writes a lot on art, and he has defined this unstitched cloth as the timeless Indian dress, because it's timeless because it doesn't follow the diktats of fashion. Which is not quite true, but yes, you can still take out a sari from 30 years back and you can wear it and you can still look fashionable. I was just at a very big conference the other day and I wore a sari which I had bought in my college days for some 42 rupees or something. And it was a cotton sari from South India, so nothing very great. And I was wearing it. And at least 10 people came and said, where did you get it from? You don't get these colors anymore. I said, yeah, because it's like a very ancient sari. But it's a timeless Indian dress because it doesn't go out of fashion. You can take it out anytime and you can start wearing it again and it looks beautiful. So just look at the concept of a t-shirt which you wear out in 1 year. Maximum 2 years you will wear it. A pair of jeans which will have a 3-year life, as opposed to a sari, which even your grandmother's sari, you'll be happy to wear, which may be 50, 60 years old. And in fact, you'd love to wear that because they would be so special, those saris. And they are considered to be timeless and beautiful garments. So having said that, we used unstitched clothing. it does not mean that stitched clothing or dress were unknown to us. Historically, due to the scarcity of cloth, and here I'm going to start talking about my next thing that I'm going to move to, it is that because cloth was so precious, cloth was being, the fiber was being spun by hand, it was being woven on the loom, and to make that little bit of cloth took many hours, and it was your time that you were putting into it. It was not that you could just go to the market and buy 20 meters of fabric. It was so precious that every inch of cloth was used. So we were a very sustainable society. Stitching was considered to be a waste of material. And the Indian thinking has been always opposed to the idea of any waste. We don't have to do any waste in our homes. Traditional homes, you'll see nobody wants to do any waste. We want to reuse, recycle, upcycle every single thing that we have. And the reason, of course, for having this unstitched cloth was that it was very adaptable, it was very flexible. You could drape it on this shoulder, you could drape it on that shoulder, you could tie it around, put it around your neck, you could wrap it around your head, you could make a skirt out of it. It was so adaptable, it was flexible, and also it was very appropriate for the Indian climate. And the other thing to remember about unstitched dress is that draped clothing have always been, or the unstitched cloth has always been associated with the highest level of society in India. So, for instance, the priests, even till today, when you call a priest for a puja, he will wear his angavastram and he will wear a dhoti. He may wear a kurta, which is a stitched garment, which was not worn traditionally, but he will wear that. When you sit down for a wedding, you will wear a sari or a draped cloth. If somebody dies, a boy who may be living in America all his life, he will come back and he will wear an angvastram or a dhoti. So when it comes to ritualistic occasions, you always wear unstitched cloth, because cutting of cloth was considered to be a defilement. It was like you have defiled a cloth because you cut it, because you were cutting maybe on the beautiful Ambi motif that was made and you were cutting across that. So it was considered a defilement. And unstitched attire was considered in Indian society a mark of high status and sophistication. And just observe this around you, you'll see that still when it comes to occasions which matter, people want to wear something which is not cut and which is not defiled, so to speak. And connecting it to the dots of sustainable fashion, when you have not cut it, it is usable for a longer period of time. And I'll give you an example which my mother always used to give. She says we never had so much money. We would have enough money for 2 odhnas. You know, in Rajasthan, you wear a choli and a ghagra, you wear a odhna. She says, but the thing was that the color of the odhna had to change seasonally. So she says we used to go to the local dyer, and if it was Tej, then we would get it dyed green. If it was Holi, we would go and get it dyed pink. If it was Diwali, we would go and get it dyed in another color. If somebody was getting married, we would get it dyed in red. And she says they were all kacha colors, so impermanent colors like direct dyes that we use today. So just quickly, it would be bleached, dyed, and it would be a new piece of cloth. So how beautiful that we could use the same piece of cloth over the different festivals and ceremonies and rituals, and actually not having to buy 100 dupattas each time. So I talked a little bit about zero waste fashion and what is zero waste fashion. Does anybody have any thoughts on how much time do I have to do this?
Ma'am, 30 minutes.
30 minutes. Okay, so I think I'm doing okay on time. So would anyone like to tell me, where is my chat box gone? Chat box, yes. So would somebody like to share with me what zero waste fashion is? What do you think zero waste fashion is? 3R, what is 3R? That's interesting. Shraddha, can you elaborate on that, please? Okay, anyone else wants to talk about what zero waste fashion is? Okay, the 3 R's: reduce, recycle, and reuse. Okay, to an extent, reduce is zero waste, and sometimes recycle and reuse is zero waste. But I think the real zero waste is, yes, I think Rinku has the most appropriate answer, that when you are cutting the garment, you cut it with minimal wastage. You know, the idea is, where is Rinku from? And Padmaraj is also on this. Hi, Padmaraj, how are you? He's not admitted yet. Padma is an old student of mine. So interesting to see him here. Yes, so it is zero waste is really, Rinku is from MS University. That's good to hear, Rinku. I want to tell you, I also did my master's at the MS University, and of course, probably before you were born. But yes, I did my master's in textiles from MSU many years ago. So a zero waste fashion really is when we are cutting the garment. At that time, we generate minimal wastage. We don't waste fabric. And in India, when we were cutting our garments, if you know, a kalidar kurta is cut from a square piece of fabric. When the tailor finishes, there's no fabric on his table. There's nothing on his table, because he has used the way he cuts it. So if you have a square piece of cloth, the kalis are cut like that. So you take out the base from here and the top from here and the base from the bottom and the top from there. If all of you know how to do pattern making, you will appreciate that Indian clothing, traditional Indian clothing, was always zero waste fashion. And you'd be surprised to note that something like a choli, a kanchli, which is such a beautiful fitting garment on the body, when a choli is cut traditionally, there is zero wastage on the table. The material which comes out from the neck cutting, that is also converted into little, strings, or it's little fundas or little dories or some ornamentational material is done. So Timo Rissanen is the person who has talked most about zero waste fashion, and he defines zero waste fashion as eliminating textile waste that occurs in garment production. Of course, this is an American from New York who is writing about this, but we have written about this way before, or we have practiced it way before anybody became aware of zero waste fashion. So we look at zero waste also, like if I give you a modern example, if you know of fully fashioned knitwear technology, then that is a zero waste fashion technology where there is minimal cutting in the, just one second. I'm unable to send messages only to one person. I can only send to one person. Why is that? Everyone in meeting. Okay, not that I'm sending messages, but that was annoying me. So when we look at fully fashioned knitwear, it's really, you start from one end and you finish at the other. And in any case, knitwear is a sustainable technique because minimal cuttings happen in that. But in fully fashioning, no cutting happens. But look at the example of the choli, and then you will understand that yes, that is also something which can, which is talking about zero waste fashion. So to come back to the choli, I'm going to just talk about some material from an article I'd written many years ago, and I'm going to just quote directly. So I'll be reading out this portion. This was a talk that I had given in the US on talking about how the choli was a sexual symbol, and it was never a sexual symbol to begin with, and then later it became a sexual symbol. So throughout the history of dress, there is a continuous evidence of draped attire. And we have a large number of references in India's ancient literature, painting and sculpture say that the upper body was left bare, either bare or it was covered by a piece of cloth artfully tied around the bust. So many sculpture that we see, we don't see a woman wearing an upper garment, and it was, the body was always left bare. So when did this choli actually come to be? So the stitched bodice, we think, was introduced in India between 100 to 300 circa by invaders like the Kushans and Sakas, hailing from the colder part of Central Asia. Later, these bodices were adapted to the Indian climatic conditions and local tastes across the country. No evidence, however, of this transformation is available. However, these variations can be observed in different regions till the middle of the 20th century, and presented in many different forums and in publications. And we know that by the time of the Gupta period, a small bodice with sleeve was in use, which in due course of time transformed into varying regional styles. The basic choli or bodice comprises of pattern pieces which are geometric in shape. The material is fully utilized with the leftover scraps used as trimmings, as I mentioned. The necklines varied between a sweetheart and a high round with a V-neck down the center. Some were deep and revealing and only slightly wider than the modern brassiere. And they were also functionally like the bra that is used today. The sleeve lengths differed depending on the different ethnic groups. And the cutting and the construction of the garment was such that it supported the breast, gave the body a clean silhouette. And the garment was thus designed to enhance and draw attention to what is generally considered to be one of the most beautiful and seductive parts of the woman's body. And a lot of literature tells us that because of this reason, that people did not want to attract attention to this part of the body, the choli was not in use traditionally. The body was just looked on as a natural, normal thing, and we didn't want to draw attention to different parts of the body. So that's something very interesting to understand. Do we have any questions at this point of time? Any comments, any questions? Is everyone having breakfast while on mute and no video? The name of the book that you're referring to here. So I have written several books. You could go on my website, which is www.vandanabhandari.com, and you could look at that. But the name of the book that I'm talking about is Costumes, Textiles and Jewelry of India, Traditions in Rajasthan. That was also the topic of my doctoral work, and that's where that has come from. The article on the choli is published online somewhere. I don't have a copy of that. It was published in a journal by the University of Minnesota. So you could possibly look at that. I don't remember the title also of that thing, but it should be online. It should be on my CV somewhere or on my LinkedIn page. You could look at that. It is something to do with the choli and sexual enhancement of a woman's body or something like that. How it's become a sexual symbol over a period of time. So you could look at that possibly, but I'm sure I've got it on my website also. If you don't, you can WhatsApp me or send me a message on Facebook. I'll be happy to share the name of that, the article. Any other questions, any comments? Okay.
I
Yes.
don't think we have more questions, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so I will just carry on from here. I'm going to talk about an organization, a brand really called Rasleela. And not because this is the only organization which is working like that, but I just happened to interact a lot with them during my recent travels. And I was closely looking at their garments and once again impressed by the type of work that they were doing. So Rasleela is a brand which is based out of Ahmedabad. And they are really following sustainability to a very high extent. And they practice it as a lifestyle. They think of clothing, producing clothing by repairing, conserving, and consuming less, and following a lot of eco-friendly practices. So every design, material, and the process that is used there is selected by choosing it with a definitive purpose. So it's very purposeful, very conscious clothing. It's not just something that we want to produce. And they want to focus on making a difference, really. How to consume resources, how to revive crafts, how to ensure that there is an inclusive growth. So following a lot of the tenets of sustainability as we look at them. So all of us know that, the sewing machine has been in the larger story of life, a recent invention. And it was only that in 1755 that the first patent for a sewing machine was done. And we are talking about clothing being used from many centuries. So how was clothing being stitched? People were actually making stitching was being done by needles. And the needles, before we made them out of metal, they were made out of bones, they were made out of horns. And of course, iron was also one of the materials of which the needles were made. Incidentally, we have found needles 5,000 years back from our Indus Valley civilization. So we know that some form of sewing was known to us, whether we were stitching clothing, whether we were stitching plants together, whether we were doing embroidery, I don't know, but we had needles. So Rasleela as a brand does not use a sewing machine when they produce their clothing. Everything is stitched by hand. And when they were telling me this, I was remembering what my mother used to say, that her nani used to, make my nani would make 100 kali ghagras, and the stitching was done by hand. And I used to just think, if we have to even stitch this length of thing with hand, how tedious it becomes. And they were making every part, every clothing by hand. So these people are trying to revive that age-old tradition of sewing everything by hand, whether it is pockets, seams, embellishments, buttons, strings, even the label is done by hand. And they are trying to revive this beautiful craft and keep it alive, because who else is going to make things by hand? Of course, it adds a lot to the cost, but it is just, there's such a huge value in it. And internationally and nationally, this is being recognized that people are wanting to use this. As I mentioned earlier, that the fashion and textile industry is the second largest polluter of our environment, oil and gas being the other. And to combat that, what they have done is they use, Rasleela as a brand uses raw cloth, that is what we call Kura cotton, that comes off the loom. So without any processing, all their clothes are off-white and only embroidery is done with different types of other color. Everything else is unprocessed. So they're using fabric which is dye-free and which is bleach-free. And in that sense, they are reducing the amount of pollution that happens in the environment. Even natural dyes, we may think that natural dyes are really good. Even they cause a level of pollution, because after all, they have some chemical products in their nature. So they use only raw material, which is unbleached and which is not dyed. The other thing that we talked about was zero waste. So they are again using zero waste as a philosophy in the making of their garments. And I do want you to go on their website and look at that, where they are saying that any type of cutting that they are doing and any fabric that is produced is reused either as patchwork or as applique, and they're trying to also make use a lot of the Indian pattern making techniques when they are cutting their fabric, cutting their garments, so that they, the wastage that is produced is really low. There was they talk about something called a capsule wardrobe, and one of the surveys that is done, it finds that an average person, average individual, is discarding every year about 35 kilos of fabric annually. And there are clothes in our wardrobe which we never use, either because they're not in fashion, or they were bought for a particular occasion and you never could reuse them. Sometimes we just go to the market, we like something, we buy it, and then we say, oh, I don't really like it, and then you don't wear it again. So the idea of Ras Leela is to have very basic, very comfortable, yet stylish clothing, so that that never goes out of fashion. As an example of like the sari that I used as an example. The other thing that we need to celebrate in India, especially when we talk about our heritage and we talk about our craft, is that a lot of the things that we make are made by hand. So that is the reason why when we take things off the loom, or we embroider by hand, or we stitch by hand, each product is unique. So while that may not be production friendly, while that may not work for a fast fashion brand like H&M, but if you think of couture, where everything was made by hand and everything was custom made for a particular individual, we are already doing that in India. Our craft is unique, and it is no one else can sort of duplicate that. So each piece that is made is quite unique. And of course, we have to remember that the artisans, or the people who are making these products, are also as important as the final product and the final customer. Because if we do not look at these people, if we do not respect these people, and the other day somebody was saying, oh, we should respect our artisans and we should respect this thing. I said, we don't have a choice, because if we don't respect them, we have to stop looking down at them. We have to look up to them, because they are the custodians of a heritage which we are enjoying. And if we do not look up to them, and if we do not treat them as equals and stop looking at them as just skilled labor, then we are going to lose all our traditions and all our heritage. So it's extremely important for each of us to respect what we have, to look at the past, and only then we can really go into the future. So I think with that, I would like to end my talk, and I hope we have some question answers. If we have, I'm happy to answer them.
Ma'am, I have one question.
Yes.
Despite wearing a linen shirt and linen fabric, I have one question regarding the Kala cotton. So would you like to describe how it is being produced and what is the process of producing the Kala cotton, since it is very comfortable to wear?
So, all cotton is comfortable to wear. But the idea of the Kala cotton is that there was a time in India when, to enhance the production of cotton, we started to bring American cotton seeds. And that gave us a longer staple cotton fiber. And however, because it was not entirely suited to our conditions of growth, it started to get a lot of local pests. It consumed a lot of water, and it was basically, it's like taking a tree from one climate and putting it in another, and it was not a very sustainable practice. Now, Kala cotton is a type of cotton which is grown in Gujarat, and it has just become very famous, suddenly. But what they did was they did a revival of the type of local cotton that was being grown over there, which is hardy in its production. It is pest free because it is, over the years, it is genetically modified, automatically in the environment, that the local pests cannot attack it, because it must have built that, it's like the Darwin's system of evolution. So it evolved to a way, and then they are taking it out, they are growing it locally, providing employment to the local farmers, doing hand spinning and hand weaving, and then making the cotton. So in my view, the Kala cotton is just, it has just become a success story, but it is a cotton which is indigenous to India. It is a cotton which is hand spun and hand woven, and now it is being recognized internationally because of the beautiful story they have managed to tell about, that how valuable it is in the context of our country. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
We have one more question, ma'am, from Mr. Sandeep Soni. Can we call sari as garment?
Do we wear a sari? I want to ask that question. So it may not be a garment, but it is a piece of apparel which we drape around. And as I said right at the beginning, there are two types of garments. We have anatomical garments and we have gravitational garments. So, or dress. So we may not define it as a garment, putting it like that, but it is a piece of dress, and it's a piece of apparel, and it comes under the category of draped apparel.
We have one more question from Miss Nidhi Yadav. Where we find Kala cotton in Delhi?
Well, you can find it at many of the exhibitions. Nidhi, if you live in Delhi, you're very fortunate, because we have exhibitions at Delhi Haat, we have exhibitions in Nature Bazaar, and very often you can see Kala cotton material over there. But it is being produced mostly in the Bhuj area in Gujarat, and that's where it's most abundant.
Thank you so much, ma'am. The chat box is flooded with more
So let me just
comments for you,
let me quickly answer whatever I can. Be it sustainable raw material or hand embroidery, I feel everyone can't afford sustainable apparel. Please reflect on it. I have to say this is a very valuable question, because we have made sustainability very expensive. We are saying it is expensive, but sustainability, all of us wear cotton shirts. As I mentioned, if I buy a sari, I can use it for 40 years. I can never use a t-shirt for 40 years. As a person, I may be able to afford anything. I will never invest as much in a stitched garment as I will in an unstitched garment, because I know the life of that product is much more. So maybe when you buy it, it looks more expensive, but if you look at the long-term usage it gives to you, it is much more sustainable in its usage. So of course we have to have a mix of the stitched and the unstitched in our wardrobes, but the sustainable garments, which are timeless, unique garments, they will, like if you buy a good expensive jacket, you can wear it your whole life, unless you change sizes. So you can keep on using it again and again. Whereas you can go and buy a cheap jacket made out of nylon or rayon, and that may not give you that much of life. Yeah. Somebody wants to know about what zero waste apparel methods are there. Okay, the zero waste apparel methods are, of course, taking a square piece of fabric, draping it into a dress without cutting it. And I know a friend of mine who's a fashion designer. She always only wears her bottoms as, she uses dupattas as her bottom. She says, every time I go out, I drape it in a different style and I have a different bottom. So, and then she says, when I don't feel like using it that, I use it as a dupatta. So you can do that. And of course, the geometric pattern cutting methods are there, which are traditional to us. You can read about them in my book. You can read them about in B.N. Goswami's book. You can read about them in Timo Resonen's book, and you will be able to find more about the zero waste method of. So zero waste is basically that when you leave the table, there is minimum fabric over there wasted.
We have one more question from Ms. Divya. What is the suggestion for youngsters about sustainable zero waste fashion?
Education, education, education. We have to educate people about the value of sustainability. We have to educate people about the harm fast fashion is causing, and we have to just educate the world at large. That's the most important thing.
I think that's all with the questions, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Padma has raised his hand.
Yes.
Padma,
Okay.
what are you wanting to say?
IT team, can you please
Audio and video? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, hi ma'am, good morning. So
morning.
basically, I wanted to ask you, there's a good awareness required and people are aware about the situation and also about the global warming and things like that. But still there's a huge demand and there's a huge supply. And it's very difficult to get into a situation where how the demand supply can be fulfilled, also keeping the livelihoods for people. Okay, because this demand and supply is also directly impacting the livelihood of a lot of people who are in the manufacturing sector. If everyone is aware they're doing right or wrong, then the supply chain will break, and then it will create another impact. So I just want what you think. Like people are aware, but still there is a demand and supply, and that demand and supply is also supporting people to survive on this planet.
So, if the planet survives, only then we'll survive, no? So we have to be sustainable. That is the primary thing. Everything else is secondary. If that is not going to help them to sustain employability, then we have to find other employment. But if the planet only goes away, if we have floods in Delhi, if we have floods all over the country, if there are heat waves, if there's global warming, if the food crops are not able to be grown, then we won't survive. So everything else is secondary. We have to be sustainable, Padma. So I think that is what I would say is very important.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
one more
Yes.
question, ma'am?
Yes.
How to recycle the used innerwear? Dr. Namrata wants to ask this.
So, many people are working on this. Of course, in our country, the beauty is that many of these things can be reused by other people, but there are ways of doing this. And I think we are out of time right now. I'll be happy to discuss that at a different on another platform. Maybe you can write to me personally, and then I'll be happy to. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm happy to see that one technical textile person like Dr. Suranjana is also excited about this. Wonderful. Liz Matthews on rectangular pattern making, any Indian pattern making book. There is a book by Zarapkar, which is very famous, and there is one book by Dr. Dhapotkar, which is very famous. You could look at that. I'm going to stop answering questions now because I think we're out of time, and I'm sure you have to get on with the program. But I am available. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Insta. I'm on LinkedIn, and not very active, but yes, I do answer questions on and off. Thank you.
Thank you so much ma'am, for accepting our invitation. I hope that we will have you for your guidance in near future also.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
I'm going to exit now, right? And
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
So now I would like to invite our next speaker for the second session of the day, Dr. Vinod Kadam. Dr. Kadam is a senior scientist in textile manufacture and textile chemistry division, ICAR, Central Sheep and Wool Research Institute, Rajasthan. Sir has around 30 publications in national and international journals of repute. Along with that, Sir has many feathers to his cap, which includes 2 books, 7 book chapters, 8 research projects, and has filed 4 patents. Dr. Kadam's research interests include fiber reinforced composites, nanofibers, wool fiber, sustainable materials, biopolymers, and functional textiles. Sir has been awarded the Outstanding Engineering Services to Society Award, Institution of Engineers, India, Best Scientist Award of the Institute, ICAR, CSWRI, India, Best Paper Award at Third World Congress on New Technologies, Italy, and RMIT International PhD Scholarship, RMIT University, Australia. Sir will be speaking today on wool and silk fiber in sustainable fashion and entrepreneurship viewpoint. Now I request Sir to please address the gathering.
Thank you, Ms. Annie. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thanks a lot. At the outset, I am thankful to Amit University for giving me this opportunity to speak at this forum. I belong to textile engineering profession and very less knowledge about fashion. So all fashion experts are here. And I'm really impressed with Dr. Bhandari's lecture. Professor Bhandari has mentioned about zero-waste fashion. I got enlightened. And as she mentioned that education is important to for the young minds to know about the sustainability. So my entire presentation is based on this sustainability one. And whatever fashion things you are doing, you need some backup support. Why this sustainable fashion is important. So I think in my presentation, we get some insights about the sustainability. With respect to wool and silk fiber, you can tag it to the number of different natural fibers and whatever fashion enterprises you're doing. So the content of the presentation, next 30-35 minutes, I'm going to cover the sustainability, what is in general, and sustainability in textile in particular. Wool and silk, brief introduction about the wool and silk fiber, sustainable processing, what are the prospective applications, and the entrepreneurship viewpoint. Sustainability, as you might be knowing, that it is nothing but survival or persistence of any system, or you can say, but typically the definition of sustainability, as someone mentioned in 1995, that it is interrelated scale and time and space. What is the longevity over the space and time? The space may be starting with cell or up to a planet level system. And the time scale depends upon the longevity of the system. What is the economic impact of that, or what is the environmental impact of that? When I say system may be a particular species, it may be a culture, it may be a process, product, it may be a business enterprises, or it may be an ecosystem. Now, sustainability in general, in definition, it is the interconnection between economics, ecology, politics, and culture. However, mostly it is dominated by economics and ecology. It is more dominated by economics because it drives your business, and ecology because many people nowadays aware about the climate change effect and sustainability aspect. That's why it is more dominated as of now with economics and ecology. Now, sustainability in textiles as defined by 3 different ways. There are many other ways, but primarily they go with these 3 terms: life cycle assessment, LCA, eco-efficiency, and HIC index. Now, life cycle assessment is cradle to grave approach, anything which starts from raw to the end, and after disposal, what happens to the product with respect to its economic aspect and with respect to its environmental aspect. That is, they call it as cradle to grave approach. And it is more focused on evaluating the environmental impact in terms of the CO2 emissions. Whatever irrespective of the gases, it will evaluate in terms of carbon dioxide emission. Eco-efficiency is the ratio of economic value of product and its environmental impact. during manufacturing and during use. So this is not considering any social or any political factor here. Whereas Higg index consider this social and economic factor. So this Higg index is a scoring, index-based scoring, which many textile brands use this Higg index. It may be qualitative and quantitative scoring. And they consider, as I mentioned, that they consider the social factors like forced labor, child labor. So this is kind of inclusive sustainability. That's why it is more adopted in textile industry, particularly in fashion industry. Now, wool, it's God's gift to sheep. We know sheep since early civilization. It is the first domesticated animal in the history of mankind. We have more than 200 breeds as of now on the planet. In India itself, we have 44 different kinds of sheep. It was domesticated in Asia first, then it went on to Africa, then it went on to Europe. Particularly Spanish people understand the commercial importance of the wool. That's why the fashion and textile industry propagated in Europe itself. Then it went on to America, Russia, and in last two centuries, it is focused in Australia, concentrated in Australia and New Zealand. Recently, from 26th century onwards, it is shifting slightly towards China. Now, this wool, cotton, and silk, where the root cause of the industrial revolution happened 200 years back in Europe. So these three fibers may bring this industrial revolution. And this, I always refer that it is a classical example of sustainability. We are talking about sustainability. As I mentioned, it is there since early civilization, and even today on the planet, we have around 1.173 billion sheep. So from which we are getting the wool. And in many forums, it has been considered as a future animal because there is a grazing land is shrinking. The requirement of all other economic factors are concentrated. That's why the small animals has more future. So see, this is the classical example of system. Tell me one product or one process or one technology which is existing more than 100 years or 200 years. So this animal is there since early civilization, and it is considered as a future animal. So the I think this is the best definition of sustainability as of now. Silk, on the other hand, is the another protein fiber. It is the longest natural filament used in textile industry since 5,000 years. It is obtained from the silkworm. It may be a wild or domesticated, but however, 90% of the commercial silk is produced by a domesticated silkworm called as Bombyx mori. And this insect eats that mulberry leaves, and all these silk is called as mulberry silk. There are other varieties of silk, but commercially, mulberry silk is more available in market. India and China are the largest producers of silk. 90% of the world production is contributed by India and China. Around 5,525 silkworms are needed to produce 1 kg of raw silk. This statistics I am just mentioning because it will help you in your fashion enterprises. When you connect to the sustainability, all these statistics will be useful to you. One single cocoon can yield of around 900 meters of silk filament. This is again interesting piece of information. Now, wool and silk, we know this is a source of textile fabric since early ages. This is a symbol of richness and luxury. Even today, it is a timeless fashion. However, even though it is available since centuries, the scientific studies were occurred only after 1875 onwards. Now, this is because there was a dominance by the synthetic fibers in late 19th century. And it's interesting piece of information again is that wool is associated with 2 Nobel Prizes. One was in two prizes where Nobel Prizes in chemistry, Dr. Martin and Dr. Sinch, they did some work on papered partition chromatography. Even today, this is the basis of HPLC, high protein liquid chromatography. Another interesting Nobel Prize in chemistry to Dr. Pauling. He discovered that the alpha helix is the fundamental secondary structure of protein. You might not be interested in all this stuff. It's more technical or more chemical based. However, and Nobel Prize is a big thing. So that's why I think it's worth mentioning here. Then when after 19th century, what happened is the synthetic fibers starting with nylon, viscose and polyester dominated the market, and the importance of natural fibers, including cotton, gradually diminished. It is not only wool and silk. The importance of cotton is day by day decreasing and is taken over by polyester and nylon fibers. Despite all these advancements happened in synthetic fibers, even today we have very advanced synthetic fibers. However, the properties of wool, silk, and cotton are unmatchable. There are some properties which are not able to reproduce as of now. So with this property, combination of these unique properties is, in addition, the sustainability angle is the winning edge whenever we use these natural fibers in your fashion enterprises. Now, when I say properties, this is the image created by CSIR in Australia. They say that this wool fiber can be used for a number of different applications. Now tell me one single fiber, whatever fiber you name code it, which can be used for so much applications. This is a typical microstructure of wool, which is extendable, which can be used for soundproofing, which is breathable, which has hydrophobic outside, hydrophilic inside. It has got good anti-static properties, antibacterial properties. It has odor absorption property. It has water repellency. So number of applications. And even though this is just a piece of information which they discovered in 1990s, now the cutting edge research, they are working on keratin nanofibers, which is another byproduct of this wool, which has ample application in biomedical sciences. So this fiber has a future. And anything connected with your sustainable fashion, you will never be out of the context. So commercially, wool has been defined into 3 different grades based on the fiber diameter. It's the most dominant factor deciding the price of the wool. Fine wool, which ranges from 15 to 25 micron. It is used for apparel manufacturing, shirting, sweaters, jackets. The processing route is called as worsted. Worsted is nothing but a village in England. That's why they gave the name worsted. Then there was one process called as semi-worsted. Then there is one process called as woolen. Different kinds of wool is used. 25 to 40 micron is used for carpet manufacturing. We are exporting worth 12,000 crore rupees of carpets to Western countries from India. So we are expert in carpet manufacturing. The artisans are here. Hand knotted carpets are well established commercial enterprise in India. And then coarse fiber, which is more than 40 microns, woolen can be used for woolen item manufacturing, belting, or braiding. Or in technical textiles, people are there from technical textile background. So coarse wool, which has very less value, low raw material cost, can be used for different technical textiles or different fashion wears. This is the process flow chart. Because many a times in being a fashion enterprise or fashion student, you always take the cotton fabric or directly purchase the wool fabric or silk fabric. But there are a number of processes that involve that the fabric manufacturing, particularly with wool. It has number of pre-spinning operations. So shearing is one of the operations, the first operation where we obtain fleece from the animal skin. Then we do scouring, then we do carbonizing, then grading, sorting. Then it had 3 different processes of spinning. Then there is a knitting, weaving, then there's a chemical processing. So it's labor intensive, energy intensive process. Then the fabric appears to your hand. So when you talk about sustainable fashion or sustainable industry, so all these factors, back-end factors, you have to be considered. And then only you can decide, you can define the sustainability angle of your enterprise. So LCA, life cycle analysis of wool. So I'm giving you some examples and some quotations, some statistical data which will be useful for your reference. So always a life cycle analysis is being done preferably with ISO 14040 framework, where they define the scope, boundary of the subject, and the economic impact and the CO2 evaluation aspects are there. With this, there are some statistical software models are there where we need to put these boundaries. And the focus is on how much water we are consuming, what are the natural resources being consumed, what are the fossil fuel we are consuming, what is the energy requirement, what are the emissions, and what is the economic impact of that. So cradle to grave is nothing. This approach is right from the raw material to end product. What are the footprint assessment that is being calculated in life cycle analysis. Now, this is a typical example where energy and emission of wool and polyester are compared. So energy-wise, wool consume very less energy. It emits very less CO2. However, polyester is really cheaper, and bulk processing is really easy through machines. That's why it is dominated. It is more, the strength is higher. Some of the properties, the durability is, the polyester is much higher. And that's why they dominated the market. And even if you are in fashion industry, how many people use the natural fibers? It's all polyester, nylon, acrylic, viscose rayon. It is more dominated by these other fibers. This is again a t-shirt comparison of a wool and polyester. So the carbon emission, as I said, wool emits very less carbon. Polyester is more. Comfort, whenever somebody was mentioning whether the cotton is comfortable. Cotton, wool, and silk are, by default, these are the most comfortable fabrics on the world, on the planet. And comfort is definitely thermophysiological comfort. I mean to say, it's much better than the polyester. Odor absorption is excellent with the wool, whereas polyester is very poor odor absorption. The frequency of replacement, whenever we have a wool t-shirt, we replace very less frequency as compared to polyester. And that's why the washing cycles are very less compared to polyester. So these are, with respect to environmental impact, wool has an edge over the polyester. Now, this is the carbon footprint and assessment of sheep farm. See, these are the system boundary as per the ISO model. These are the inputs. What are the manure? What are the fertilizers that we provide in the farm? What are the pesticides we add? What are the fuel? What is the electricity requirement? Okay, and what are the emissions that can be produced out of these inputs? Maybe a carbon dioxide, maybe a methane, maybe oxides of nitrogen. They are again converted in terms of equivalent carbon dioxide, and then they express in one term. Now, in on-farm production, there are a number of things that happens, like intrinsic emission of methane, the methane emission from the sheep manure, then oxides of nitrogen with direct and indirect way of farm production activities, then carbon dioxide emission with different kind of activities happen on farm. And in terms of economic output, they say wool is only one economic allocation, whereas the other sheep, because sheep is nowadays reared for mutton production as well. So the mutton, the breeds, the number of animals, this is again the other economic allocation of the product, allocation of the sheep farm. Now, on the bottom line is that 2 kg of greasy wool is required to produce 1 kg of wool garment. So if you need 1 kg of wool garment, we need 2 kg of grease wool. Now, 2 kg of grease wool, to obtain that 2 kg of grease wool, you need to consider all these factors, and then you come out with what is the environmental impact. So people have done that, and I'm showing the results. But the same thing they did not do with the man-made fibers. Like, for example, emission after disposal of synthetic fibers. Now, they consider all the factors that has been occurring before the production of a wool garment. Similarly, I request all the people who are doing the LC analysis, if you're doing this LC analysis synthetic fibers, you see what is the thing happening after the disposal of the end use of the synthetic fiber. How many times they are depending on, they will remain as a landfill, and how much amount of emission will be there, carbon dioxide to the planet. So this needs a critical assessment. When you do this, vis-a-vis comparison, then you can say straight away that which fiber has an edge. Now, this is again example of wool garment cycle. These are different activities, and what is the proportion of total CO2 emission? What is the proportion of fossil fuel usage and water usage? So there are 3 different economic aspects have been considered, environmental concept has considered, and these are the outcomes or findings. So they say that livestock rearing releases around 18% of the anthropogenic greenhouse gases, and out of that, on-farm sheep rearing contributes 50% of the equivalent CO2 to emission. So, and biogenic methane is the largest contributor to the carbon footprint. Emission overall is ranging from 8 to 24 kilos of CO2 per kg of greasy wool. Now, why this range? Because wool is being reared, sheep is being reared at different corners of the world. So sometimes for every geographical location, the things will be different. That's why the emission range is 8 to 24. And wool processing in general is very less, 2 to 5% of the total carbon footprint of the wool cycle is because of the wool processing. Another important thing is wool products do not emit any carbon dioxide after disposal. Once you dispose of, even if you use it number of times and recycle it, reuse it, and again waste it, you can reuse a number of times, number one. And even if you dispose it, it will not release any kind of harmful chemical to the planet or ecosystem, whereas this is completely reverse with the synthetic products. So this needs a critical assessment. Now, if you look at the another example of LCA of silk production, again, this is done with ISO 14040 guidelines. They took the system boundaries, what are the background processes, what are the energy demands, what is the cumulative energy needed, what are the different processes involved, and then what are the emissions. So generally, silk degumming. Degumming is a process where we remove all the sericin part, the raw material part, the wastage part from the silk to obtain the filament. This has the maximum energy consumption. Again, this has been done with the Simpro software. And so there are some more indicators to define the impact. Like, for example, GWP 100. This is useful for all the fashion students. You should know this global warming potential over 100 years. Whatever things you're doing, you can connect all these things to these particular terms, then you will have edge over whatever others are doing. CED, cumulative energy demand. What is the cumulative energy demand with your product vis-a-vis other ones? ALO, agricultural land occupation, freshwater eutrophication, or ecotoxicity. These are the 5 important terms or indicators people use in defining the life cycle or sustainability of a product or a process or a system. Now, this interpretation is that with respect to silk, there are 2 most energy consuming steps in silk manufacturing. That is the cocoon making and cocoon production. Mulberry cultivation mitigates around 76 to 81 tons of carbon dioxide per hectare per year. This is again an interesting piece of information. And the mitigation is 735 times the weight of the silk fiber. So this is the most important things we need to highlight and to say that why this particular fiber is sustainable and the commercial importance over the next generations to come. This is a comparison of energy consumption of a power loom and hand-woven silk. Hand-woven silk is relatively more energy efficient or sustainable as compared to power-driven silk, because most of the energy required for this power needed to run the loom. So this part is missing in hand-woven thing. However, the garment production and the use has maximum energy consumption because number of activities involved: ironing, washing, dry cleaning. These are the things involved that requires a lot of energy, and this is again a biggest contribution. Always we neglect that. We always consume. We always assume that the energy needed before the preparation of the product and disposal of the product, but during use there's a lot of consumption of energy that we need to take into account. Then there are interpretation opportunities because these fibers are sustainable. So sustainable processing, whatever things you processing are being done, if you can add green chemistry or sustainable things, sustainable biomaterials you can add, then you have interpretation opportunities. You can diversify product, and there's ample scope with all these natural fibers to diversify your product, diversify your fashion, because fashion is the most dynamic world on this world is fashion. So diversification is the key with the natural fibers. You can very well adapt to your industry and newer applications. Yes, there are some certain technical textile applications coming with these natural fibers where you can put in your fashion or your business enterprise to the sustainability aspect overall. Just to say a few examples: braided mats. Here I'm quoting the wool, which is a very low value, because wool is often considered as a very high value product, very costly affair, costly item because of the fine wool production, fine wool fabric the cost of manufacturing or the cost of purchase is very high compared to cotton, jute, or even synthetic fibers, much higher compared to synthetic fibers. So here we consider it as a braided product which can be going to the fashion, various fashion industries. So these are the braiding techniques where we can convert coarse wool, which has very low value, into a very useful product. This can be converted into very beautiful products like furs or various natural things, fashion items, household articles, yoga mats, door mats, picnic mats. This can be going to a fashion industry, and you would fetch higher amount of price from the good non-spinnable wool. This is a good diversification. Another diversification is the handicraft. Wool absorbs a lot of color, so like the silk. So you can draw beautiful paintings on these wool sheets, and then you can market as a fashion item. You can create a very beautiful handicrafts using wool, and you can use in the fashion industry. There are some ladies' purse items that can be produced from the felt or namda sheets from the wool. They take low quantity of wool. They give you high value. Creativity, if your creativity, passion, obviously is synonym with the creativity. And there's a lot of export potential. People are doing a lot of export business with all kind of this stuff, and they're doing it. So if you connect all these things to the sustainability aspect and do some small calculations, and then you can increase your brand value with these sustainable indicators. So, which I understand from my experience, that there is a lot of gap between the wool grower, the farmer who is doing this sheep business, or natural fiber producer like silk carrier or cotton producer, and the textile industry, fashion industry, and the people who are connected, stakeholders like veterinary officers or veterinary education specialists, and the young entrepreneurs. They are not connected. The fashion industry is not connected with all these things, and that's why we do not understand what to do, and we always take it for granted that we'll buy the fabric from the market and we use our fashion, we'll add our input, and then we'll sell it. But if we need to really want a sustainable approach, we need to interconnect with each other, and we need to put all the sustainable indicators, be inclusive, be holistic approach. If we adopt, then I think there's a great potential. With this conclusion, I would like to say wool and silk products are always timeless fashion, and effect on climate change needs a critical assessment. Here I mean to say a lot of things we are doing unknowingly, and even if we are sitting in this beautiful maybe in a beautiful auditorium, some of you are in homes, but these indoor space is very polluted. If you really can envisage that, this is generating a lot of volatile organic compounds that we are breathing. Now these volatile organic compounds are being released with these all synthetic products that we have around: tables, furnitures, paints. So whatever we do, if we put this small sustainable approach at the back of your mind, and you critically assess your business, then definitely there may be a change. Sustainability of ecosystem is a future. As I mentioned, these natural fibers are the future. Even in fashion industry, you can connect all these natural fibers to your system, or whatever you are doing. If you bring sustainability into that, then definitely there is a future. And another important thing is if you put these fibers in your enterprises, ultimately you are contributing to a value chain, and this value chain comprised of number of landless farmers, number of small farmers, number of cottage industries. So your one business can cater to different value chain in the society. Now, if you put some holistic approach to your enterprise, that I am doing this, but because of this particular society part of is being benefited, this particular segment of society is being benefited, this particular animal is being benefited. If you put together to your business attributes, then your economic impact will be higher, your sustainability will be higher, and it will be a win-win situation, not only for your business enterprise, but also for the society or generations to come. Inclusive entrepreneurship, that's what I want to say. Inclusive entrepreneurship is the need of the hour. And if we work all together, definitely we can contribute to a better future. With this, I would like to again thank Amity University for giving me this opportunity. I understand I'm not a fashion expert, so whatever I want to make it less technical as possible as to put forth my point. So any questions, suggestions, or improvements you can suggest, no issues. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir, for your enlightening lecture on the classification of wool and its statistical analysis behind its process of production and its impact. So we have few questions, sir, very interesting questions. So one question is from Dr. Ashima, and her question reads that different types of wool exist in India, from Pashmina to Kuch to Merino. Is there any organization or one point contact where one can get to see fibers, yarns, and fabrics made out of varieties of wool in India?
Yes, Central Sheep, where the institute where currently I'm in, Central Sheep and Wool Research Institute, we have all the different kinds of wool that exist in India. We have a technology for complete Pashmina manufacturing. We have patents for this manufacturing of pure Pashmina shawl. Then we work on yak fibers. Then we work on Angora rabbit fiber. Then we do some work on natural dyeing as well. We did a number of papers published in natural dyeing area. Animal fibers, you take any name. We are ready to support to any kind of guidance is needed if you need. This is the institute where you get every information. Central Sheep and Wool Research Institute. That's in Navikanagar, Rajasthan, near Jaipur, 80 kilometers away from Jaipur.
Yes, sir. I hope her question is rightly addressed. And we have another question, sir. What is Simpro software?
This is a software used for life cycle assessment, measurement, evaluation of life cycle assessment, its economic impacts and its environmental impacts. You need some background information about use of the software. First, you define everything on paper. What are your inputs? What are your outputs? What are the energy requirements? What will be the economic impact? And then you put these values to the software and they will give you some kind of analysis to you.
Yes, sir.
The
Thank
statistic.
you.
Yeah.
There is another question by Sandeep Soni, and his question is, can you elaborate, sir, on degumming and rilling of silk?
Degumming is the operation where we remove the sericin part from the wool, and then because this raw silk has a lot of gummy material stick with it, and we need a very fine filament, even though silk is very fine. So we remove all this gummy material with the degumming process, and there are some alkali-based some formulation combinations there. Then we add certain chemicals and then remove all this gummy material. This operation is called as degumming. And rilling of silk is nothing but conversion of these fine filaments into a long length material, so it can be converted to fabric form.
Thank you so much, sir, for your enlightening lecture on the particular topic. And we are very much looking forward to connect with you with such enlightening sessions to learn from you. And we would love to hear from you, sir. What is your response regarding this Amity University and our whole session? And in the near future also, we would like to connect with you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It was a very enlightening and eye-opening session from your end. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. There are a couple of questions, I think. Are you from Avikanagar branch? Yes, I am from Avikanagar. Avikanagar is the place near Jaipur, 80 kilometers from Jaipur. Another question is preservation. Visha is asking preservation or recovery of hairs. Preservation or recovery of hairs. There are two different terms. Preservation is about shelf life of a hair. And with respect to wool, you need to give some anti-moth treatment because wool is a protein fiber. Compared to human hairs, this has less life, wool fiber. So you need to give additional anti-mold treatment that can be a bio-based or synthetic based, that you can improve the preservation of hair. Recovery means you are extracting keratin from wool. There is a procedures, synthetic based, chemical based, green chemistry based, and enzymatic based techniques are there, where you can extract or recover keratin from it, and its purity can be variable based on the process. Yes, that's it.
Thank you so
Okay.
much, sir.
Yes,
Thank you
thank
so
you very much. Yeah,
Yes, thank you so much. Have a good day.
same to you.
So now we are waiting for our next speaker, and I think he has already joined. And now I would like to invite our esteemed speaker, with our next speaker on this session, that is Mr. Akshar Tholia, who will be speaking on practical approaches to understanding fabrics. Sir is serving as an international textile coach and director, SARB International in India. Mr. Tholia has 27 years of experience in academics, training and development and research industry in the field of fashion and textile. Sir has authored the first live book on textile, that is Live Textiles and Understanding Fabrics, and have shown passion for training and learning by creating exceptional interactive learning tools in textile. Sir is also the recipient of Leadership Award in 2020, Global Textile Leader Award in 2021, Textile Guru Award for outstanding contribution in textile education across the globe. So now I would like to request sir for please address our gathering with his enlightening lecture on the particular topic. Now the panel is yours, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pratyush. And hi, everyone. I have been hearing a lot of technical stuff you have been getting from Dr. Vinod Kadam. And here, as already Dr. Pratyush said, about my profile, and my focus, my forte has always been into the experiential learning, into practical learning. So, okay, so see here, when it comes, I don't know how many of you have attended my sessions earlier. I would love to interact a lot. So just write me in the chat box if you have already attended some of my sessions. So you would know that, I always require a kick. When I say kick, it means that you need to participate constantly with me. And that's what give a drive for the, speaker to do well. Yes. Okay, great, Priyadarshini. Only the Priyadarshini is the one who has attended. And Seema Nagrat also attended earlier. Okay, anyone else? That's true. Great. So, Dr. Pratyush, would you allow me to start the session by sharing? Can I share right now? Yeah.
Yes, sir. You can go.
Yashasvi, Swati. I would like to know from all of you, yes, what is your profession? Are you a student, faculty, or industry person? And which city are you from? We have Swati is a faculty from Vadodara. Okay. Seema Nagrat from Delhi. Sumit is from Delhi, Bhubaneswar. Ashima is from design educators. A lot of faculty members are there. Great. It's more of a faculty development program, it seems. Neha, Khosla, Jyoti, very good. Great. So last I did, how to deliver training when it comes to session. When I had a session last with Amity University, it was basically best practices. Best practices in online teaching. Anyone of you have attended that session? Great. Okay. Please allow them. Yeah. Thank you, Lakshmi, Savitri, Kavita, Chami. I really love it. If you could please connect with me throughout, it would be a great kick. I would always say it's a kick because it drives me to deliver better. Great. Share sound. So guys, how many of you have is already means how many of you are already into teaching textiles? Just write me in the chat box. Let me know how many of you are actually into the hardcore textile teaching. Priyadarshini, that's what. Okay, Dr. Ramya, great. KIIT Odisha, great. Only 3-4 faculties are into hardcore textile teaching. Great. So let's begin now. Are you attending these sessions from your workplace or you are joining from your home? Just write H or W in the chat box. Workplace or home. So most of you are actually joining from the workplace. No issues. So here we are going to use, see, when I say the practical learning, obviously you are supposed to have some materials, but here the limitations is that you are at your workplace. So you cannot access your wardrobe. Whatever the material you are wearing, you have to touch and feel. That's okay. Great. Okay. I request all of you to watch this lovely video on need of textiles. Before asking you a question about the need of textile, I would like to know from all of you what happens when you get to know that there would not be any supply of water throughout the day at your workplace or your home. What kind of feel do you get? When you get to know there's no water supply at your home, what kind of feel do you get? Just write in one word. Are you able to hear me? I just asked you what happens when you get to know that there's no water supply at your home throughout the day. What kind of feel you would get? अगर आपको ये पता लगे कि दिन भर पानी नहीं आएगा तो आपको कैसा लगेगा? Okay, I am getting answers, but I'm not able to see. Okay, great. Okay, a lot of people have already answered. Yes, irritating, frustrating, panic, tense. Okay, suffocating. Great. So basically, the point is, see, the moment you get to know that there's no water supply, it is a horrifying moment because your life depends upon it. Have you ever thought of how textile has been in your life too much that you have never even ever given the due credit to it? Just look at this lovely video and you will get to know.
You sheltered me from harm, kept me warm, kept me warm. You gave my life to me, set me free, set me free. The finest years I ever knew were all the years I had with you. And I will give everything I own, give up my life, my heart, my home. I will give everything I own just to have you back again. You taught me how to love, what it's all, what it's all. You never said too much, but still you showed the way from watching you. Nobody else could ever know the part of me I can't let go. And I would give anything I own, give up my life, my heart, my home. I would give everything I own just to touch you once again.
It is hard to live without textiles, right? Be an observant and please answer what you have observed. Something which you have not realized so far, how textile has been too much into our life. In the video, where have you seen this application throughout in our life? Just write in 1 or 2 words, where have you seen this application? Where do we use textile throughout in our life? It is in garments, it is in shoes, it is in carpet, it is home furnishing. Everything around us is from textiles only. Okay. Sometimes, you know, things which is very, very convenient to us, we don't give due credit to it. But if you don't have, then only you get to know the value of it. Okay. That was a gist to start off with this video, right? Great. Guys, obviously, you are into fashion. You must be knowing a lot of stuff about fabrics. A very basic question to all of you. Do you know what you are wearing? If yes, just write in the chat box, what kind of top are you wearing? When I say what kind of top, in the sense, what material are you wearing today? Just write in the chat box. And let me see how many of you are really confident. Reena, Anu, Geeta, they all are very, very confident about cotton. No one has given any other name except Sumit. He said he's wearing blended, and one person is saying PC. Okay, but besides that, lot of people have answered for cotton. I think 10 to 15 people have only answered out of 171, and I think its number goes to 20, 21, 22. Okay. Blended yarn dyed, Dr. Ashima, it is basically I'm talking about the material, knitted garment, Ashima, it's material. I'm asking like rayon kurti, Reena said, okay, great. Now my question to you is, everyone, my question this for all those people who have answered cotton, are you sure that you are wearing cotton? Yes or no? Yes, Dr. Rama, Praveen, Charmil, Aurohi, they are saying they are very much confident. Can you please give me answer why you are so confident that what you are wearing is 100% cotton? Why you are so confident that you are wearing? No, Praveen, it is not about comfort. I'm looking for the right answer, Dr. Ramaya. It is not about this answer. I'm asking why you are so confident that you are wearing. See, my son who was even he was in standard 4th at the age of 9, and today he's at the age of 17. He is very much confident that he is wearing cotton. What is the reason behind it? No, it's not about a reasonable price. No, I'm not getting the right answer. And everyone is. It is not about comfort or absorbency or feel. I'm looking for the right answer from any one of you guys. It satisfies my 5 senses. Padmaraj, no. I have already given you the hint about my kid, my son. Okay. See, the point is, if you look at your wardrobe, the maximum number of garments you would find is from cotton. Okay. If you look at yourself right now, the maximum number of garments you are wearing is cotton. It is not about environment friendly, Himwati. It is all about your experience. You have maximum experience from cotton only. That is the reason when it comes to comfort, feel, touch, you immediately answer that you are wearing cotton. Yes, Archana? Great. I really love my audience is lovely right here, which I did not find last time. And it's, you know, please clap for yourself, everyone who is participating. I really love the audience, and credit goes to you. Great. Now, again, my question, since you have got the clue, can you please answer, how do you identify cotton? When it comes to touch, it is harsh or soft? Is it harsh like jute or soft touch? It is soft, okay, because your experience, so now you can answer it very well. Great. When it comes to feel, is it warm like wool? It's warm like acrylic or cool? It is cool. Very, very good. Great. Again, how do you identify by these 2 points? Number 1, fall, and number 2, look. See, here we are in which mode? We are not able to touch material like all the material which I have in my hand, which I always advocate of touch and feel. Here we are in the virtual mode. Now, if you see virtually, if you see someone wearing cotton, someone wearing rayon skirt, will you be in the position to identify by look or fall? Yes or no? So Dr. Reena says yes, and Ruchi says, Kavita Raju says, you all will be able to identify by look and fall. So here is a question for you. Can you please identify which one out of A and B is made out of cotton? And here is your experience, guys. Why do you say absolutely right answer from Ruchi, Mittal, Sindhi, everyone who has answered? It is A is cotton and B is rayon. My question stands there only when it comes to look and drape. How do you identify that A is cotton? Please write your answer in chat box. How do you say by look or cotton stands while? Very good. Rayon drapes well. Okay, Ruchi Mittal is on the right track. Okay. It's not about printer. Printing is carried out on everyone. Drape. Okay. See. Okay. Great. See, the point is, I have these 2 fabrics with me. One is 100% cotton, and second is viscose rayon. Okay. Now the point is, okay, this is cotton, and let's take one example first. It is polyester. Okay. Now what I'm doing here, guys, what I have done, can you see here? I tried to crush both the fabrics. What happens? This is, which one is cotton and which one is polyester? White or red? Which one is cotton? White or red? White is cotton. Why? Because cotton has a property, or you can say a weakness, that once you crush, it does not come back to its original position. Are you in the position to see crushes on the skirt? Yes or no? Slide is not changing. Which slide is not changing? Are you able to see this slide where we have skirt and this thing? A and B, are you able to see?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Because some of the people are saying they are not able to see the slide. They might not be able to, their speed might be slow. Okay, great. So the point is, cotton does not come back to its original position. It has weakness, and that is the reason you will find a lot of crushes on skirt A. Number 1. Number 2 is what? When I say drape, guys, I would like to again hear from you. How did you answer on account of drape? Rayon is more fluid in terms of drape as compared to cotton. Absolutely right answer from Stuti Basin. See, when I make a skirt out of it, suppose this is my fabric. If I create a skirt out of it, cotton will create volume. Can you see my cursor movement? Can you see the volume where you would find a lot of volume at the bottom, A or B? Which one is creating volume at the bottom? A is creating a lot of volume. And what is the reason? Anyone, I think most of you, I think at least 5-6 people are teaching textiles. Can you please tell me what's the reason of creating volume at the bottom by cotton as compared to rayon? Absolutely, Abhilasha Singh is right because fiber is little stiffer. Cotton is little stiffer than rayon, and that's the reason it creates volume. Okay, great. So this is the virtual way to identify, and these are the some practical technique today we will see in identifying various fabrics. Great, guys. Since here we have just discussed about a fabric, now can you please tell me, does your top garment has color? Yes or no? Okay, Reena, Seema, Sanjana, Chami, Ruchi, Mittal, everyone says yes, your garment. Not Ruchi, but other says okay. Now, guys, since you are on the fashion background, you should be able to answer this question very well, whether it is a dyed or printed. So Sumiti says dyed. Guys, are you really sure that you are very much confident of what you are wearing is the dyed or printed? Yes or no? Just write yes. That on those lines. Yes, Abhilasha, Charmil, Sanjana, they all are very, very. Archana, I'm asking yes or no for dyed or printed. You are sure? If you are sure, just write yes or no. So Upshri Bureau, yes. Okay, guys, let me see how many of you really understand what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay. So guys, tell me, out of these three, please tell me which one are dyed. Please answer only for the dyed ones, A, B, C. Out of these three, which ones are dyed? Please answer only for the dyed. Printed, I will get automatically. Radhika says C is dyed. Mona Lisa says C is dyed. Ruchi says C is dyed. Bhumika, and there are people who are also saying all are dyed. Okay, Hemant Kumar says B and C, and Charmil Doshi says only C. Great. So guys, Kavita Rajput says all are dyed. If you are feeling okay, Manju, okay, why A is dyed, guys? If you say okay, C is dyed, B is young, okay, why A is dyed? So Archana and Abhilasha, they all are very right on their front, all are dyed. The answer is all are dyed. Okay. See, sometimes we understand dyeing is only at the fabric stage, but that is not true. Dyeing is carried out at various stages of Mona Lisa. You are not right, though it is dyeing, but at what stage? How A is dyed? So A is basically only Ashima and one person has answered absolutely right for A. A is basically very good. Sumit, it seems fiber dyed. It does not seem it is right that no. A is, look here. Can you please answer now? Everyone, can you please answer now how A is being given color? At what stage color is being applied? It is now, answer is in front of you. Very good. Great. See here, this is white and the fiber, at fiber stage, it is being given color. We are mixing two different color fibers, white and black, and that's how we are getting this kind of yarn. Can anyone from the industry answer what this yarn is better known in the industry? Where my cursor is, and absolutely right, it is known as melange, and that's how we are getting such kind of melange t-shirt. So basically, application of color is being done at fiber stage. In other words, we also call it stock dyeing. Okay, when we talk about P, at what stage color is being done, it is quite obvious. Color is being applied at yarn stage, and that's how we get checks, we get stripes, and we get multicolored jacquards. Okay, can you name some of the multicolored jacquards in day-to-day your life? Let me see how many of you are really very much aware or into fabrics. multicolored jacquards. Okay, Madras check, that is checks. I have already said plates. Okay, that is checks only. Okay, what about Archana Puri is right. Brocades, very good. Stripes and checks, I already said. The multicolored jacquard, the good example is brocade. Very, very good. Okay, great. And the last one, at what stage color is being applied? At fabric stage. Great. Great, great, great. Okay. Now, you have understood the concept of application color. Okay. Can you please see this picture and answer the question which is just in front of you? Manjulin Jacob, you are late. So there are people who are saying young, some of them are old, and some are seeing both. Okay, it is all about perception, because my next question is very much based onto this. Can you see here? Can you see here? It is not reverse that changes. Can you see here? This is the nose of an old lady. This is cheeks and chin. These are the eyes for the old lady, and this is our hair. Okay, so this old lady is looking here. Look at other perception. This is a young lady for this. This is the eyes she is seeing here. These are basically cheeks and chin, and this is the neck for young lady. Okay, seen it in many times. Very good. If you have seen it many times. My next question is based on this. Can you please tell me which one is printed out of these two? Here I do expect some quality questions from your end, which I'm not getting. See, you need to have a question before answering. I do expect a question from you. Check the back side. Very, very good. Yes. See, in general, it becomes very difficult to see until unless you touch feet, and you can see the both side of it. Here you can't touch it, but you can see the back side of it. Look at the back side, and now you can answer very well. You can see here, this is A is printed, and whereas B is dyed. And what kind of dyeing is it? What kind of dyeing is it, guys? Sumit Kumar, yes, it is yarn dyeing. Yes, this is yarn dyeing, right? Guys, here, okay, guys, just look at this video. I'm going to ask some questions to you, and I want to see how observant you are. Once again, just look here. Okay, you all have seen this video, right? Did you observe it thoroughly? Yes. Okay. My next question, series of questions are based on this. Please answer these questions. Okay. Okay. What fiber have you seen in raw stage? It was ball of cotton, which you have seen. Very good. And who answered first? Great. Question number 2 is, what was the form of cotton? What was the form of cotton which you have seen here? And I think most of you, if you are from this background, it is cotton was in the cotton ball. Very good, Meenakshi Kadam. It was ball of cotton flour. Yes. Question number 3, how many colors have you seen in the woven fabric? How many of you really observant throughout? How many colors have you seen in the woven fabric? Abhilasha Singh is absolutely right. There were 2 colors. Absolutely right. Question number 4. What method of dyeing have you seen here? Let me see how many of you really were observant. And Abhilasha Singh, again, it was yarn dyeing. Absolutely right. Because it was the yarn which was being given color. Number 5. Which yarns were blue, warp, or weft? If you were really observant, you have to answer which ones. Guys, use your common sense. The fabric which is there, you can answer yes, it was warp. See, it was warp. And last question is, how do you justify question number 5? Why warp were blue? Why do you say it was warp? Okay. No, Abhilasha. They were in the. How do you identify warp? Selvage was not visible. Yes, Abhilasha saying it was in the tight condition. You must have seen the yarn were tight. There were 1 yarn, those were tight, of which the tight yarns were warp yarns. And the last question, I think everyone would answer very well in one go. But let me see who answers first for the question number 7. Name the commercial fabric being made here. And the answer is denim. Absolutely, Bhavya. Very good. It was denim. Great. So, guys, this is what we have understood. But now, my question to you is, this Bollywood movie, which was earlier in Malayalam and now very much popular in Hindi, how many of you have watched this movie? Just write me in the chat box. So there are a lot of people who have watched this movie, Drishyam. Okay, guys, what was the gist of this movie? What was the crux of this movie? Kavita Rajput says she has watched it many times. So Kavita, what was the crux? It is not family first. No, it is not the crux. Crux lies in the title itself, guys. I've given you the maximum hint. Crux, the gist lies in the title itself. Visuals, that is the English meaning, yeah, Mohit Vatsa, it's the English meaning. Drishyam means visuals. Which visuals I'm talking about? See, the point is, why do I advocate experiential learning? Why do I always train people with fabric samples in advance? Before, first I send entire sample and then I train people on fabrics. Why? Because, see, the point is, if you just learn theory, and that's what it follows in our teaching also, okay? I think since you all are teachers, you must be very much aware. If I tell you there are 4 methods of teaching. Number 1, lectures. Number 2, videos. Number 3, do it yourself or experiential learning. Which one would be the most apt method for the learner? By which method your learner would learn throughout their life? Lecture, demonstration, or experiential learning? They will learn experiential learning, do it yourself, practical learning. In this movie also, where have you seen the experiential learning? Why the entire family of Vijay Solgaonkar could retain in their head what happened on 2nd and 3rd October? Why? Because They did not mug up the concept. They traveled to Panji. See, in this movie, a lot of people might not have seen the movie. The entire family member which you see on the screen, they had to memorize the incidences of 2 days, 2nd and 3rd October, okay, which never happened in their life. What they did, they traveled on another day, 4th or 5th October. They went to Panji, they ate pav bhaji, they watched cinema, they did all the activities which they were supposed to do on 2nd and 3rd October. Since they all experienced, they did not utter, they did not shake from their statement when they were interrogated by the police. Why? Because they literally experienced all the incidences together. That is the reason, if you ask question from anywhere, their answer will remain same. Yes or no. Have you got the point? Have you got the crux? Yes. So why I'm talking about Drishyam? I am not talking about Drishyam. It is just a way to make you understand. Only by theory, obviously you're a student or you may not learn so fast, but if you experienced all those stuff very well, your learning will be so fast that you will retain throughout your life, right? Great. So this is all about experiential learning, and that is the reason. If you look at this picture, this is basically a live picture from my session wherein the students, the participants are literally touching the material, okay? They are touching and feeling the material. Okay. So let's understand. See here, we don't have material. You may not have material with you right now, but we will try to understand as much as we can in a virtual mode. Are you guys ready? Just ready in the chat box. Just write ready in the chat box if you're ready. Yeah. Okay. Okay, great, great. Okay. So number one, you already know what I'm talking about. Okay. What is A and what is B? A is known for comfort. A is known for volume. A is known for natural comfort. Comfort is a broad term that covers a lot of stuff. Okay. What is A? A is known as king of the fiber. A is cotton. Okay. Now, what is B? Guys, if you look at, if you have two skirts and if you give to model would love to wear cotton or rayon. What is your answer? Why model would love to wear rayon rather than cotton on the ramp? Can anyone answer this fact? Why model would love to wear rayon? I'm talking about viscose rayon. Okay. Yes, Abhilasha, because viscose rayon is known for excellent drape. When I say drape is basically a subjective term. Okay. When I talk about drape for menswear, it may be a straight fall, it may be voluminous. That is the drape I look forward. Okay. But when it comes to women's wear, they generally look forward for fluid drape. Okay. This is called rigid drape, wherein it creates volume at the bottom. This is called fluid drape, which creates less volume at the bottom. Okay. So viscose rayon is known for excellent drape, and what is B? B is a viscose rayon, right? Okay. Now look at A, B, and C. All these three stuff, what is common do you find in all three? Color. Okay, there's a natural color. Okay, no problem, because if you, it's all natural fiber. You would find in these colors only. Okay. White or off-white or cream. Okay. What else? Slabs, okay, Stuti is on the right direction. Maybe she can say it's a stiff. Okay. See, if you look at these fabrics, they seem to be stiff. Yes or no? Okay. They are actually from the line of this fabric. Can you name this fabric? I think everyone should answer what I have in my hand. Jute. Okay. Now, guys, if I take out yarn, is it bending down? It is not bending down. Even if I take out the fiber, it will not bend down. It is long and stiff. Okay. It is long and stiff because fiber is stiff. Okay. So guys, if I make garment out of A, B, and C, will they create volume or fluidity? V or F? They will create volume. Okay. Guys, I do expect quick answer from everyone. From where do we get jute? From where do we get jute? Sanjana Girdwani, yes, jute we get from tree. Akhilesh says plant. Ruchi Mittal says plant. Ramdeep Kaur says stem. Okay. See, guys, jute we get from stem of the plant. Okay. And so A, B, and C. Out of A, B, and C, they all are obtained from the stem of the plant. Can you please tell me which one is the most lustrous out of A, B, and C? A is the most lustrous. Okay. I do also have A with me. This is my A. And I can see the luster since it is in my hand, and this is my B. Okay. This is my A and this is my B. Guys, if I touch A, it is lustrous, but if I touch, it is pinching me. It is pinching me. Can anyone answer what is A, which has a little luster, but it pinches? It is obtained from the stem of the plant. I always ensure if I have A with me, A is in my wardrobe, it offers excellent fall when it comes to menswear, but I need to ensure that I should have proper intimate apparel inside. What is A? No, Sumit, for linen, we don't require that much. No. I was expecting flood of answer for A, but I did not get. No, Abhilasha. Okay, everyone, see, I tell you once again, A is obtained from the stem of the plant. Who loves it? I see, when I go for shopping, I do get people who buy A. They know A, they understand A. See, especially people who are leaders who have to go for campaigns throughout the day. Okay. Now, if you wear cotton throughout the day, what will happen? If you go for campaign, you keep on changing your clothes, yes or no? You can't keep on changing clothes, but it should be natural. It should give a proper fall. It should not. Okay. So they wear A, which pinches a lot, but they do wear with proper intimate apparel. No, Dr. Sarita, we can't wear jute. What is A? A is basic. Anyone? I just give you a clue. A names start with letter R. Please answer now, guys. I do expect a lot of answers from you. A is Rami, R-A-M-I-E. She's Stuti Basin. Please write clap for Stuti. At least she answered finally. Please write clap for Stuti. Absolutely right. Great. Guys, again, I ask you one question. Which are the two most popular summer clothing? Name them. The most popular summer clothing material we have Very, very good, Abhilasha, linen and cotton. Okay. Tell me one thing. Why do we go for linen and cotton when it comes to summer? Why do we go for linen and cotton when it comes to summer? Dr. K. Praveen Banu says absorbency. Guys, Abhilasha, okay. Abhilasha and everyone, please tell me which is the most absorbent fiber. Which is the most absorbent fiber? Can anyone answer this question? Let me see how many of you are really technically equipped with your answer. And Stuti Basin, again, please write clap for Stuti. The most absorbent fiber is wool, guys. The most absorbent fiber is wool. Why can't we wear wool? Because when it comes to summer, it is not absorbency. We require at the same time, our body generates actually two things besides moisture. Our body secretes what? Can you please tell me the two things which is secreted from our body when it comes to summer? Two things which are secreted from our body when it comes to summer. Very good, Abhilasha Singh. Besides sweat, it is heat. Okay, so sweat need to be absorbed. At the same time, heat need to be conducted from our body. These two things should match, and these are met by cotton and linen. What is P is the second most popular fiber for summer, which is linen. P is linen, guys. Okay. What is C? What is C on your screen? I've already given you a lot of hint. Dr. Reena, I have told you number of times A, B, C are obtained from the stem of the plant. None of them are jute. Then what is C? See, C was earlier, C was one of the most costliest natural fiber. Okay. C, from past 5-10 years only, we have started producing in India. Earlier, we used to import. You require a special permission to produce C, though it is a natural fiber, and 2 states have been given license for it because its sister fiber offers drugs. So you need to produce in a very restricted condition. Yes, Prachi, Bhavya, you are on the right direction. C is hemp. C is hemp. Great. And so, guys, as I already told you, if A, B, and C, they are known for volume, what kind of clothing you would find in the market? What kind of clothing you would find in the market out of these 3 textile materials? Shirts, yes. What else? Not only men's wear, Abhilasha, women's wear. Why do you underestimate women's? They do also wear formal shirts. Bags you can make, but then Bhumika, it will be very, very costly. Jute is one of the most costliest fiber. Sorry, the hemp is one of the most costliest fiber. So all the, shirts, formal trousers, jackets. Okay, you can get jackets from this thing, hemp and linen, the summer jackets. Yes, home furnishing. Yes, when it comes to if you're ready to pay price, you can get good clothing, good home furnishing from B and C very much. Not from A, because A has a drawback. I've already told you, but the plus points are also there from A. Guys, look at A and B. Okay, when you see these 2 pictures, A and B, what you feel? What you feel? You feel, are these irritating when it comes to summer? Yes or no? Are these irritating? Yes, Bhavya, they are irritating because it seems they are for winter wear. A and B are meant for winter wear. Okay, I do have A, I do have B. Though since it is in my hand, you are not able to see it, but you can see on the screen. Guys, please tell me which one is more lustrous, A or B? Which one is more lustrous? Very smooth, neat, and clean. Yes, it is B, 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 B. Guys, why? See, Why B is more like both are known for winter clothing. Guys, I ask you one basic question. Okay. If you in winter, if you need to buy a pullover, you can buy from Monte Carlo, you can buy from Pantaloon. Okay. How many of you have bought from Pantaloon and Monte Carlo both? Both. Okay. Instead of Pantaloon, I would say Big Bazaar. Okay. One from Monte Carlo and second is from Big Bazaar. Monte Carlo pullover will cost you how much? 3,000 to 4,000. What about Big Bazaar? You can also get a pullover from Big Bazaar at a cheap price. You will get out somewhere around 500 rupees. Both are giving warmness. Then what is the basic difference? What is the basic difference? Please write clap for Saptarshi Mehti. Saptarshi Mehti is on the right track. What is A is pure wool. A is wool, whereas which we are getting from Monte Carlo, and Saptarshi is absolutely right. Anyone from Ludhiana, just write L in the chat box. Yes, Bhavya Rana, I would I should get first answer from you only. Ludhiana is known for B. Ludhiana, the very much pullover made out of B, which is acrylic, are being made in Ludhiana only. Okay, so A is a natural wool fiber, B is acrylic, and since B is also known for warmness, we do better call as synthetic wool. Okay, so other word of it's a substitute of wool at a low price is a synthetic wool, which is B, that is acrylic. Okay, anyone? I think most of you must be aware of why do we get warmness from wool, or for that matter acrylic. Why do we get warmness from wool or acrylic? Very good, very good, not only crimping, Abhilasha. In case of wool, there is a natural pockets. It is not hollow fiber, Stuti. There is a natural air pockets in the wool fiber itself. The critical, the way we have hairs, you must have seen there's a layers. Same in case of wool, there are layer over layer. Okay, so there's always a pocket, and in this pocket there's always a dead air, and this air is basically does not allow our body heat to go out. That's how we feel warm. In case of wool, in case of acrylic, it offers a lot of volume. Since fiber is so light, it offers a lot of volume, and that's its shape is something dog bone. It offers a lot of space for air. That's how we get a lot of volume from acrylic. Okay, guys, look at this picture. What is common in A and B? The thing which is common in A and B. I also have A and B with me. Both are lustrous. Okay, please tell me, my picture, my fabric, which one is louder, white or red? Which one is louder in luster, white or red? Red is louder. Okay, and who louds? Something which is natural or something which is artificial? Something which is artificial. See, all these man-made fibers are already so much lustrous that you need to put delustering agent while producing. Okay, and that's how we get, these are the, they are always so loud in their luster. both are having luster. But here, which one is showing natural luster and delicacy, white or red? Which one is showing natural luster, white? On your screen, which one is showing natural luster, gray or purple? Gray is showing natural luster. Okay. So basically, what is gray and what is purple? The fiber, both the fibers are known for luster. Gray is known for natural luster, the fiber which is known for natural luster, and delicacy, it is silk. Okay. And B, look here, what is B? You can answer very well, everyone, all of you can answer it very well. What is B? I have crushed it. It comes back to its original position. What is B? B is polyester. What is the property of B? B is basically has enormous property to come back to its original position after deformation. If I ask you one basic question, which is the most widely popular men's shirt plant, what is your answer to it? The most popular men's shirt plant, what is your answer? It is polyester cotton. PC is the most popular men's shirt plant, especially when it comes to uniform. You will find not polyester cotton. Why? See, cotton is known for comfort, but if you crush, it does not come back. Polyester does not know, it is not known for comfort, but it comes back very well. Okay. So basically, when you blend them, you are getting quality, what you require. You are getting price point, what is required, because cotton is costlier, polyester is cheaper. And that is the reason you must have seen not only men's shirt blend, almost all uniforms. Okay. Either they go for cotton polyester or they go for cotton viscose as the prime blend for uniforms. Okay. So what is B? B is known for strength. B is known for resiliency. B is known for good dye uptake when it comes to fastness. Also, it offers excellent color fastness. What is B? B is polyester, whereas A is silk, right? And this last one is basically, can you please answer by seeing these two pictures, A and B? Both are man-made fiber. Okay. Both are synthetic fiber. You already know B, what is A. I'm talking about fiber, Bhavya. I'm talking about textile material. See, it seems light or not? When you see on the screen, does it seem light? Yes or no? Yes. See, A is one which is known for, how many of you? A is one which is known for lightweight. Okay. I'm talking about textile material. A is one which is known for lightweight. A is one which is known for good basic elasticity, not like spandex. A is one which is known for strength. A is basically, it is a, yes, Abhilasha Singh, A is, there's a myth that it has been discovered simultaneously both in New York and London. It has been a myth that both these fibers have been discovered simultaneously in New York and London. That's how it's named after. What is A? A is nylon. Very, very good. And B is polyester. Okay. So A is basically a lightweight material, and its specific gravity is very light. That's why you would find, it bounces very well. If you compare with cotton, linen, jute, rami, hemp, they all fall into heavy category fibers, whereas Nylon is one of the lightest fiber. Okay. So here I'm going to ask you some questions and let me see how many of you really, involved throughout. Are you guys ready? Before summing up, before I open it up for all of you, okay, are you just ready in the chat box? Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Now you are audible.
Okay. See, the rule is I'm going to throw 3 clues. I'm going to throw 3 clues. Once I say done, you have to answer, and let me see the moment I say done, who answers first. Is it clear? Just write clear in the chat box. So Abhilasha, Archana, Matthews, and Mohit, Nimi, Mona Lisa, they all are clear and ready to go now. And my question starts like this. This is a natural fiber. This fiber is used in all age group, right from infant wear to old age person. This fiber is most widely applied in denims, gingham, madras. It is also known as king of the fiber. Done. And once I say done, it was once I say done, it was Bhavya. I just first got the name Bhavya, but she just said before I said done. And absolutely right answer from everyone who answered, got an absolutely correct answer. Very good. Great. Question number 2. This is a natural fiber. This is obtained from the stem of the plant. The main drawback that lies in the fiber that pinches a lot. You need to have a special care while wearing it. Its name starts with letter R. Done. And when I say done, it's Abhilasha saying Ram is the correct answer. I said it's a name starts with letter R. Question number 3. This is a natural fiber. You require special permission to produce it because its sister fiber offers drug. Its name starts with letter H. Done. And when I say done, it is Saptarish. I don't know the name actually. It is moving so fast. Great. I really love audience. Is absolutely amazing out here. It is not, whether you are right or wrong. The more important is your participation. Very, very good. Question number 4. This is a man-made fiber. This is a synthetic fiber. This fiber is also known as synthetic wool. Done. And Sumit Kumar, please write clap for Sumit Kumar. It is acrylic. Please write clap for Sumit Kumar and all other people who answered first earlier. I want to see the clap for Sumit Kumar. See, guys, this is a very basic principle. If you don't clap for others, don't expect to clap for yourself in life. This is a basic principle of life. Okay. If you appreciate, then only people will appreciate. It is mutual thing, right? Question number 4. Question number 4. This is a man-made fiber. This is not a synthetic fiber. This fiber is also known as artificial silk because when it was made, it was meant for this. I want to know the complete answer. Complete answer I'm not getting. And it is the viscose rayon, though she wrote in the wrong way. Mona Lisa is right. It is viscose rayon. We have number of rayon. Please tell me there are 3 popular rayon in earlier ages. Number 1 is viscose rayon. Can you please write the name of other 2? Can you please write the name of other 2 rayons in the earlier ages? Modal and lyocell are the new age rayons. Can you please write the name of the cuprammonium rayon and acetate rayon? 2 other people are answered right. Yes, absolutely right answer from these 2. And my last question is here. This is a man-made fiber. If cotton is a safe king, I would call this as king of man-made fiber. This fiber is most widely applied all across when it comes to synthetic fiber. Whether you go for chiffon, whether you go for georgette, whether you go for scrape its synthetic version you would find in this fiber only. Its name starts with letter P, done. And it's Bhavya is right. It's polyester is the answer. Though everyone answered. So clap for everyone. You answered at so early, but I wanted you to participate. I want everyone to participate. Great. Thank you so much, guys. And if you have any question regarding this session, you can ask me. It's open for all of you. Yes, I love participation. I love interaction, and that's why thank you so much, Sumit, Ramya, everyone, Chami. Thank you so much, everyone. Yes, entertaining. Yeah. See, the point is, I have not showed you the videos, but I believe training should be a two-way process. Training should have all the element of fun. Training should bring comfort to the other person at your level. Okay. It should give space for everyone to ask questions. And that is the reason I always try to imbibe fun, ease, videos, amalgamation of all the things which is required for making Sun interesting and beautiful. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Is that, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. It was such a wonderful and interactive session on practical approaches to understanding fabrics. And it definitely connects all of us with our daily comfortability regarding the wearing of clothes.
Yes.
The participants are very beneficial from this enlightening session. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Andy. Thank you so much.
So here concludes the sessions for day 2.
Okay.
The link of the quiz for day 2 has been posted in the chat box. You are requested to respond to it by the end of the day. Please check it. And for day 3, our esteemed speakers, Dr. Vijay Gotmare, Representative Director, India, Frontier.Cool Inc., former Head, Textile Manufacturers Department, BJTI, Matunga, Mumbai, and Dr. C. Prakash, Director, Indian Institute of Handloom Technology, West Bengal, Ministry of Textile, Government of India, will be joining us tomorrow. So we shall meet again tomorrow at 10 o'clock sharp. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I take your leave, Annie, Pratyush, and Rajiv Kumar for inviting me. It has been really wonderful. I really love the audience. In fact, Annie, I want to say that, when it comes to faculty member or other people, generally they hesitate. But today the audience was really lovely and very, very interactive. And I really admire all the people who participated and interacted. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you.